ever forgotten something important and then suddenly remembered it? The human mind is fascinating and complex, capable of both remembering and forgetting an astonishing amount of information. Among these processes, one phenomenon that has intrigued psychologists for years is that of repressed memories. Repressed memories, as the term suggests, are memories that our minds have pushed into the unconscious. Usually, these are memories of traumatic or stressful events that might have been too overwhelming for us to process at the time they occurred. Imagine the mind as a safety box, locking away those experiences that are too painful or difficult to handle, tucking them away in a hidden corner until we're ready to face them. However, these repressed memories can influence our behavior, emotions, and overall mental health in subtle but significant ways. So, how can we recognize the signs of repressed memories? In this video, we will uncover the 5 signs that may indicate you have repressed memories. The first sign of a repressed memory is experiencing unexplained emotions. The human mind is truly fascinating, isn't it? Imagine going about your day when suddenly, a wave of unexplained sadness, anger, or anxiety washes over you. You glance around, trying to pinpoint a cause, but nothing in your immediate surrounding justifies this emotional upheaval. Baffling, right? Well, this might be more than just a random emotional hiccup. It could potentially be a sign of a repressed memory trying to surface. These emotions, seemingly without any apparent reason, might actually be triggered by a subconscious memory. A memory that your brain has, in its own protective manner, pushed away into the dark corners of your subconscious. It's like your mind is trying to tell you something, but the message is coded in an emotional language that we often struggle to understand. So, if you find yourself swept by emotions that seem to come out of nowhere, you might be dealing with a repressed memory. The second sign of a repressed memory is recurring nightmares. Nightmares, especially those that persistently haunt your sleep with similar themes or elements, might not be random concoctions of your imagination. Rather, they could be your subconscious mind's attempts to process and cope with traumatic memories. These distressing dreams often mirror aspects of the traumatic event that has been buried deep within the psyche. They could be literal recreations, or they might involve symbolic elements that represent the trauma. For instance, a person who has repressed a memory of a car accident might regularly dream about losing control or being chased. It's essential to note that not all recurring nightmares are indicative of repressed memories. However, if they're coupled with other signs we're discussing, they might provide a clue about the nature of the hidden memory. Therefore, recurring nightmares might not just be disturbing dreams, but could be your mind trying to reveal a repressed memory. The third sign of a repressed memory is having difficulty trusting others. This trust issue often stems from a subconscious recollection of a past event where trust was breached. One of the ways these repressed memories manifest is through a general difficulty in trusting others. This can happen even if we don't consciously recall the event that caused the breach of trust. We might find ourselves being excessively cautious, wary, or even outright dismissive of others, especially in situations that require trust. We may struggle to form close relationships or constantly question people's intentions. So, if you find it hard to trust others without any apparent reason, a repressed memory might be the underlying cause. The fourth sign of a repressed memory is experiencing physical symptoms. Our bodies are incredible, they're designed to protect us, and that includes our minds too. Sometimes, when our minds can't cope with a traumatic event, they push it down into the recesses of our subconscious, where it can't hurt us. But just because the mind has forgotten, it doesn't mean the body has. This is where physical symptoms come into play. Repressed memories can manifest as unexplained pain or discomfort. You may find yourself suffering from chronic headaches, backaches, or stomach aches for which doctors can't find any physical cause. Or you might experience a sudden sense of unease or discomfort when faced with a situation that subconsciously reminds you of a past trauma. These physical symptoms are not just random occurrences. They are your body's way of expressing what your mind can't. Your body holds onto the trauma and expresses it physically, even in the absence of a conscious memory. It's as if your body is trying to communicate what your mind is unable to put into words. This concept is known as somatization, where psychological distress is expressed through physical symptoms. It's a complex process that's still not fully understood, but it's believed to be a defense mechanism of sorts. When the mind can't cope with the emotional pain, the body steps in to shoulder some of the burden. It's important to note, however, that not all unexplained physical symptoms are signs of repressed memories. There are many potential causes for these symptoms, and it's crucial to seek medical advice to rule out any physical health conditions. But if you've sought medical advice and the symptoms persist without explanation, it may be worth exploring the possibility of repressed memories with a trained mental health professional. Remember, our bodies and minds are intricately connected, and they both play a crucial role in our overall well-being. Paying attention to our physical health can provide valuable clues about our mental health. Thus, unexplained physical symptoms can be a sign of a repressed memory. The fifth and final sign of a repressed memory is having memory gaps. Now, we all forget things from time to time, but when there are significant gaps in your memory, especially for key life events, it may suggest something more is at play. These gaps can occur as the mind's protective measure to block out experiences that are too distressing or traumatic to remember. Imagine your mind as a library of experiences. Sometimes, a book, a memory, is too painful to revisit, so the librarian, your subconscious, moves it to a hidden section. However, the space where that book used to be still exists, creating a gap. These memory gaps can be disconcerting, and often, it's not until we're trying to piece together our past that we realize there are missing segments. So, keep an eye out for these memory lapses. Hence, if you notice significant gaps in your memory, it could be due to a repressed memory. To recap, the 5 signs of repressed memory are unexplained emotions, recurring nightmares, difficulty trusting others, physical symptoms, and memory gaps. These signs may appear individually or in combination, and they can significantly impact one's quality of life. Unexplained emotions are those feelings that seem to come out of nowhere, with no apparent trigger. Recurring nightmares often hint at a distressing event that the mind is trying to process. Trust issues can stem from a subconscious fear of repeating past trauma. Physical symptoms, such as unexplained pain or discomfort, can be the body's way of expressing emotional distress. Lastly, memory gaps, especially concerning personal history, can indicate a repressed memory. It's crucial to remember that if any of these signs are causing distress or affecting your daily life, seeking professional help is vital. Therapists and psychologists are there to guide you through the process of understanding and coping with these symptoms. Remember, repressed memories are a complex issue, and if you suspect you have them, seek professional help. You don't have to navigate this journey alone. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or informative, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit from this information. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I'll do my best to respond to as many as I can. Also, if there are any topics or ideas you'd like to see us cover in future videos, please let us know. And make sure to subscribe to our channel for more engaging and informative content. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.